Hi, Cinematic Enthuse here. Today it's January 31st, 2025, and I just wanted to do a video for the first time about a music event. I don't think I've talked really about any music things yet, or if I think I did maybe a little bit, not much. So the Fire Aid LA benefit concert just happened. I think it was last night, January 30th. And if you go on YouTube, um, and just type in Fire Aid LA Benefit 2025. Go to the YouTube channel version because there's a lot of different versions, and the timestamps I'm going to give you of my recommendations are on that particular video. And I'll put the link in comments if you're watching this on YouTube. I'll put the actual link that I'm referring to because you're going to see all sorts of different versions of the concert. It's like at least 6 hours. And that's why I wanted to go through some timestamps with you guys, and just tell you what I thought of it. I didn't watch every single minute of it, but I did see quite a bit of it over the last 12 hours. And let's see, I think since it starts off with Green Day. It was okay, you know. They did a couple of their songs, and Billie Eilish came out, and I've seen her. I don't know a lot of her music, but I have heard her once, I think, on Saturday Night Live. And it, I do want to start with a caveat here because I do want to say a couple things about vocal health, and something that I remember from when I used to practice singing a lot, especially classical singing, back in graduate school and undergraduate school, is the environment can really affect your voice. Some people it doesn't bother very much, other people it does. I think overall it bothers everybody, but I think it affects some people more than others in terms of uh, their technique. So, and that's in the classical arena. So you can imagine in the pop or rock and roll arena, it becomes even more like I kind of think of pop and rock and roll singers as being like a little bit more daring and um, if they have longevity at all after singing rock and roll for years and years and years, that's really amazing because it's hard enough if you're singing classically for many years. So, with that in mind, um, I think I'll tell you first, instead of going through it chronologically, let me tell you first who I thought should get some real kudos, especially considering their age and their vocal health and their actual physical health, because I actually know a little bit about these people. And I'm a little biased maybe because I grew up with them, but still, Stevie Nicks and Rod Stewart were both really in good voice at this concert. And considering both of their ages, and Rod Stewart, I think, has just come off of having cancer. And I think Stevie Nicks has had off and on chronic health problems for many years. So considering that in their, in their background and in their current state, I mean, they sang even better than some other people their age or younger in terms of vocal health. I'm not talking about performance, because there's some people who maybe didn't sound as good vocally, but gave a really good performance. So these are people that I thought gave a really good performance and who sounded really great. Um, Stevie Nicks, Rod Stewart, Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire, and I kind of put him a little bit in a tougher category because I think of him as a slightly better singer than most people. So I'm a little tough on him. I mean, he was kind of having a little bit of trouble, but he also has really difficult parts to sing. So I give him a little bit of break. Um, John Fogerty surprised the heck out of me. He came out for one song and with the Black Crows, but he sang "Have You Seen the Rain? Have you ever seen the rain?" And he sounded great. And he's got to be maybe close to 80. I don't know, at least 78, maybe 80, at least. So amazing. Now, I'd say the outstanding young artist for this entire concert goes to Violet Grohl and Dave Grohl's daughter. And if she doesn't have a record contract, I don't I don't know what's wrong with the industry. Well, I do know what's wrong with the industry, but she should have a record contract if she wants one. She may already have one. I'm not up to date on what's going on in music, so she may already be on a label. Um, she's quite good. So, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But so yeah, getting back to, let me go in chronological order right quick so I can give you timestamps. If you're a Green Day fan, check it out. I think at 10 minutes and 45 seconds, if you like Billie Eilish, I think they did a Green Day song that really sounded a lot like John Lennon to me. Um, I can't remember the name of it. It's not one of their, I think it's a later song of theirs, of Green Day's. So I wasn't familiar with it. Um, it was okay. But if you're a big fan of theirs, totally get into it. I thought they did great with When I Come Around, which is, I think the big hit they had back in the 90s before American, um, the second album they had, or the second big selling album they had in 2002, I think. But yeah, Dookie in the 90s, I guess it was 95, they had When I Come Around. They did really good with that. So if you're going to watch anything from Green Day, watch that song. That was at 19 minutes in. Billy Crystal is worth watching for a story that he told at 22 minutes and 23 seconds. And I won't give it away. It's a really nice, touching, beautiful story about laughter. And since this channel skirts and delves into laughter and comedy a lot, I really liked it. So 28:43. I would say 28 minutes and 43 seconds in. The first thing you should listen to, in my opinion, is Alanis Morissette because she blew me away. I couldn't believe how good she sounded. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting her to sound that good for some reason. Um, One Hand in My Pocket was amazing. Thank You. Not even one of my favorite songs of hers, but I really enjoyed the way she sang it. And so I gave her 5 stars for technique because the one thing that Thank You has by Alanis Morissette is she's got to flip up into an upper octave a lot and back down again. So vocally, it's kind of challenging. I'll get to another vocal challenging piece in a minute, but just technique wise, I thought she had a really nice sound. And I mean, honestly, I could hear a little bit of age in her voice, but considering everyone else was having so much trouble, in terms of like, I'm sure the air quality out there is terrible. And so, which makes sense. And I mean, she sounded amazing. 39:54. I'm going to skip to that for a minute. Yeah, 39 minutes and 54 seconds. I've never heard of this guy, but he was really good. Anderson Paak, Paak. The first tune he did is a really old school kind of R&B song, and he was on the drums and singing. And it's a very it's early Stevie Wonder kind of song. Only I think it's his. I think it's his original song. And of course, they had Sheila E., who I adore, and she was wonderful. And then Dr. Dre came out and joined Anderson Paak and Sheila E. for the Tupac song California, which was really like if I was going to end the concert, I probably would have ended it with that song. I think they should have ended it with that song. I think that would have been the best way to like play everybody out. So maybe in your listening, maybe save that for the end. It gets a little bittersweet after this for me. 54 minutes and 50 seconds was Joni Mitchell because if you're a fan of Joni Mitchell, it's amazing she can sing it all right now, but because she had a stroke. But she did a version of Both Sides Now, which was, very emotional, but very bittersweet. And also the a band called Dawes at 1 hour and 4 minutes, I believe. Um, they had Crosby, well, they had Stills and Nash on because we don't have Crosby anymore. He's crossed over. We do have Neil Young. I'm not sure why he wasn't there. He would have been great. Maybe he couldn't make it. But anyway, Stephen Stills was there and Graham Nash was there. Graham Nash sounded great. Stephen Stills, I'm assuming he's, he could sing, but it was a little choppy in parts. And I'm being a little tough on him because I really like him. But anyway, it was still good to see him, and he can play. It was a good backup band. Okay, Pink. I would suggest going to, if you like Pink a lot and you like her music, which I don't. I do think highly of her as a musician. Um, but if you like her songs, go to 1 hour and 22 minutes and 22 seconds, because I can't remember the name of the song, but she did one of her songs first. And then she did a meh version of Me and Bobby McGee. But to her credit, she did two really beloved covers back to back. And I'll tell you what the next cover is in a minute because it's one of my favorite bands of all time. And I would highly suggest watching 1 hour and 31 minutes and 19 seconds timestamp. So 1:31:19 is Pink singing Led Zeppelin's Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. And I admire her greatly for singing this because it's a really hard song. I think it's vocally one of his more difficult ones, more difficult Robert Plant songs to sing. She did really well with the phrasing. And even if she doesn't quite have the best, most beautiful voice in the world, she does have a powerful voice, that's for sure. It's a little scratchy in parts for my taste, but she really knew how to phrase that song and she delivered it really well. And it made me want to listen to the original, not in a bad way, in a good way, like just to like, because I had missed the sound of the song. But I thought she did a really, really stand up job on it. And let's note the fact that her band, her drummer was amazing. What a great drummer. And the whole band was great. I don't know her band members, so I don't know if she's always had the same band members or not. Guitar player was really good. Um, yeah, exceptional drummer. And her phrasing, like I said, like the vocal technique award of the day goes to Alanis Morissette for pure technique, but the phrasing award of the day totally goes to Pink. So musicality and vocal technique can be kind of separate. Somebody can have great technique and terrible phrasing, and the opposite, and then some people have both. So yeah. And I just wrote down 5 stars for attempting this difficult song because it really is. It's really hard. A lot of Led Zeppelin songs are hard, especially vocally. I'm sure they're hard instrumentally too, but they're just difficult. So good for her. Rod Stewart, like I said, Jesus, this guy had cancer and he still can sing really well. I mean, he's got to be late 70s at this point. I'm not sure if he's 80, but I know because he started out quite young, but he started out in like 69 or 69 or 70. So maybe he's in his late 70s, something like that. So he started off with Forever Young, very good. And he did Maggie May. That was really nice. Uh, it was really hard to listen to People Get Ready because that is a version that he did a cover of it back in the early 90s, late, I think it was maybe late 80s, early 90s, um, with Jeff Beck. And we lost Jeff Beck last year. So his guitarist was no Jeff Beck. So, but I mean, that's like saying you're no Mozart. It's really when somebody's as much of a genius as he was, as Jeff Beck was as a guitar player, it's kind of hard to have anybody live up to that. So, yeah, made me want to go back. In fact, I did. I left the recording for a minute. I looked up People Get Ready, Rod Stewart, Jeff Beck, and I just listened to. I wanted to hear that Jeff Beck part in the middle, and then I was happy. So yeah, but vocally he sounded great. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire are hard for me. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. They're like one of my favorites. But Maurice White died. I don't know, 10 years ago, and it's just even though I love Philip Bailey, it's hard for me to listen to their music without Maurice White. But they do get good replacements for him because it's such a two-part band vocally. Thankfully, everybody else is there, like Verdine White, the bass player, who I think is the brother of Maurice. He's always got a big old smile. He's always playing bass out in the front. He still looked great last night. Philip Bailey sounded wonderful, of course. So yeah, Shining Star is at 2 hours and 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you want to tune in for that, I think they also did That's the Way of the World right before that. And then after Shining Star, they did September. And I know everybody goes nuts for September. So, okay, Black Crowes. I'm going to be tough on them because a little bit of history. Black Crowes, actually, you may or may not know this, toured with Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin back in 1999, I think it was. They did a famous live recording at the Greek Theater in 1999. And Jimmy Page was the guitarist, and they did a bunch of, Led Zeppelin covers. And of course, that was 25 years ago, 26 years ago. So naturally, with rock and roll voices, they always tend to, it's a tough genre to sing for a long time. And usually, most people don't last that long in it. And if they do, it's kind of a miracle. But um, Black Crowes came out and did one of their songs first, Remedy. Yeah, that was all right, I guess. Then they did, I'll get to John Fogerty in a minute. They let John Fogerty come out, but then they kind of butchered another favorite Led Zeppelin song of mine, Going to California. Yes, they had Slash from Guns N' Roses on the guitar, and they had, I think is it Richie Robinson, the brother, on guitar, and they're both really good. But I couldn't get past Chris Robinson. He just butchered the vocals. It was just, I just couldn't handle it. So if I had to compare two Led Zeppelin covers, I'd say between Pink and Chris Robinson, Pink just nailed it. You know, two completely different songs, both Led Zeppelin, both covers. Pink did better with hers. I can't believe I'm saying that because I used to be kind of a Black Crowes fan, not a huge Black Crowes fan, but kind of like some of their music. He just not good. So yeah, you may like it. I didn't. And John Fogerty just, oh my God, I just didn't expect much, and he just blew me away. He was great. He sounded like he always does. So I mean, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, I didn't know this until I took vocal pedagogy, but the voice over time starts to lose elasticity. So that's why when you hear somebody older singing, they sound a little bit different than they did when they were younger. So, and that's true for classical people. And these people, like, are classically trained singers, are constantly doing things that are very healthy for their voice. Rock and roll and pop, and to some extent, a little bit of jazz, is not really, for the most part, very healthy singing. It's so, like, the people who do it for a living, I mean, I'm amazed that they can like keep singing at like that kind of music um into their 70s. So and I think some of the genres that are like folksy or you know a little more maybe R&B oriented or jazz oriented or like have a lot of different range. they maybe will have a longer career than, let's say, flat out like heavy metal or some kind of hard rock where you're just like constantly, there's just not that much variety in terms of what kinds of singing you're doing. And some pop singing is like that. It doesn't even have to be hard rock or heavy metal. It could just be like anything that strains your voice. So anyway, um, but he was amazing. Yeah. But speaking of, you know, unhealthy singing, but it's rock and roll. We'll just put the healthy part aside because I just had so much fun with the Nirvana set. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that to be that good. The Saint Vincent singer who did, I think she did Breed. Okay, band was great. Of course, it was original members, Dave Grohl on the drums. I can't remember the guy's last name. It's Chris something with a K. And then I think they had Pat Smear from also from Foo Fighters, but I want to say he was in Nirvana. Some of you Nirvana people will know better, but definitely he was in Foo Fighters. And of course, they all know the music really well. But they had Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth, and I can take or leave her. But if you like Nirvana, I can't remember the name of the song she did, but it was that was the second Nirvana song. I'm a big Joan Jett fan, so the third song was Territorial Pissings, and she nailed it. Even if she forgot a verse, she still nailed it, in my opinion. But the MVP goes to All Apologies by Violet Grohl. What an amazing young talent. I mean, I was really surprised. I had no idea who she was, except for the fact that I knew she had the same last name as Dave Grohl. But like I said, if she doesn't have a record label, a record contract, I, it's that's a crime. And then after that, I would say just there's other bands, if you like John Mayer, I used to like him back in the day. I don't really like him anymore. He's okay. I might go back and listen to Sting, but I did listen to him for a couple minutes. I'm a massive Police fan, but Sting over the years has kind of butchered the Police songs, and I don't like them anymore. The way he does them. But if you do, he's worth listening to. But I did like Stevie Wonder is at 5 hours. Stevie Wonder is 5 hours, 28 minutes, and 43 seconds. And of course, you can never go wrong with Stevie Wonder. But here's what's amazing about him. The first song he did, I think, was Love is in Love with Love or something like that. It's off the one of the early albums. I can't remember which one it is. If it's not Intervisions, might be Songs in the Key of Life or something like that. And it's a ballad. And vocally speaking, I thought each song he did after that, he sounded better and better and better. And that's a great singer. I mean, technically speaking, like if you can go out on stage and maybe you're a little rough in the beginning, but then you start getting better as you go along, that's amazing. And of course, what he did do is he started off with a ballad, which was smart because that's a good warm up for the voice. And then he started doing which was so much fun. He did, I think he did Superstition. I can't remember if he did Superstition first or Higher Ground first, but when he did Higher Ground, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers jumped up on stage and was right next to him playing bass, and Sting was singing a little bit next to him. So that is worth watching for sure. And Superstition was awesome too. I might go back and listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers because they were on before that. I don't have the timestamp for it, so you may want to look at that. And I'm sure they rocked the house pretty good. I know they did Californication, and they might have done. I think they did Under the Bridge, and I know they did two or three other songs, but I can't remember what they were called. But anyway, and I'm sure I missed out by not watching Lady Gaga, but I was too tired and I just didn't feel like it. But maybe I'll watch her later. I can kind of take her or leave her. I know she's a great talent, but I only like a couple of her songs, but I might watch her anyway. So, however, I don't care how good Lady Gaga is, and I know she's a great performer. She's like top tier. I still think you should go back and end the concert with 43 minutes and 44 seconds. Dr. Dre, Anderson .Paak, and Sheila E. And then, if you want to go back and finish it off with Stevie Wonder at 5 hours and 28 minutes and 43 seconds with his set. And for sure, if you want to rock out, you should totally check out the Nirvana set because that was really, really good. It surprised me. But yeah, overall, I'd say for a benefit concert, it was pretty darn good. And also for a benefit concert with the predominant amount of performers were over 40. And in genres and in types of singing that has been maybe kind of hard on the voice for many, many years. Good vocal chops, people, and also in like air quality that's like really rough right now. So, some people you could hear it and it was kind of hard to listen to because, you know, ugh, not too good, but most everybody did good. I just wanted to tell you about the stuff that I thought that I'm going to go back and listen to again. I think key points to sum up are Alanis Morissette for sure. Then I'm probably going to go back and listen to Anderson .Paak with Sheila E. and Dr. Dre, as well as his first song that was I can't remember, it was something about voluntary something. I can't remember. It was a song. It sounded like an original song. Then I'll probably skip a bit to Pink doing Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Then I'll probably listen to a little bit of Rod Stewart. And I will probably go listen to John Fogerty again. And I'm going to listen to that Nirvana set because that was good. And then don't forget Stevie Nicks. Now, where was she? She was in there, and I had her timestamp. I think she's in between. Oh, I'm so sorry. I might have missed her timestamp. But if you go to this video, and I'm going to share the link in, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube and I have it on Instagram or something like that, if you're watching this on Instagram, go to my link in bio and just click on my YouTube channel, and this will probably be there. And then once you're playing the YouTube, I'm going to put the link in the comments of the actual concert that I'm referring to. Because like I said, there's like a million different versions of this concert already in the last 12 hours. So yeah, make sure you don't miss Stevie Nicks too. Sorry, I don't have the timestamp, but in the comments of the YouTube of the concert, several people have provided timestamps as well. So, and that's where I got some of these from. So make sure you don't miss Stevie Nicks as well. Especially, she does Stand Back, and she does, I can't remember the middle song, but she does Edge of the 17. I think the middle song was Landslide. And then she did 17. I mean, Edge of 17, which was great. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm hoping to maybe do a video. I have no idea when it'll be. Possibly of all the Cary Grant movies I was watching in January. If you want to check out some of the Cary Grant movies, it was his birthday in January. I think it was the 19th. And I had been posting a lot on my Instagram and a little bit on Blue Sky as well, and Mastodon at Cinematic Enthuse. And you can find me there at those places as well as YouTube. I also have a link tree, and that's it. linktr.ee/cinematic enthuse. And all of this stuff is, if you're watching an Instagram, my link in bio, Blue Sky, link in bio, same with Mastodon, and same with YouTube. So you can find all this stuff there. And hope everyone's doing well, and I hope to give you a movie review and my thoughts on some Cary Grant films and some other screwball comedy and musicals from both the classic era and the modern era soon. Okay.